Vaheguru, Vaheguru.
Plenty of that in me. I've got a very strong bow. Tisna tir hai kat pitar, iyon gad liyo na jai. And then he fires his arrows of Trishna. I want that, must have that, must have that, must have that. And there the arrows pacing us all the time. We can't get to him. This is why when you see a true Gurmukh, right, he'll have a simple dal, couple of prashada. And I've seen Gurmukhs who have dal without even salt in it. Just simple dal, prashada. And I've seen them. Simple dress. Nobody knows. But totally engrossed in Guruji's love. Whereas we want pizza, we don't get that, there'll be trouble. We don't go to the Gurdwara if there's no pizza. And they must be different every day as well. Pasta one day, pizza, when we don't get a cake, that's the only problem. And then we wonder why the mind's not in control. We've got no clue about the mind. It loves it. Then what you do outside, it has no effect on it. And I sometimes, people who say to me, says, you dishearten people. And I say, what you want to do? Lie? Should I lie to them? And say, okay, fair enough, carry on what you're doing and shut my mouth up? Or do I sell the truth as I see it? Oh no, just soften it a bit. Well, will that help?
You didn't have to mention the cake, can you?
Pardon? But it's a swab. If we got a weakness, admit it. One of the things I've learned in my life is that I am far, far from perfect. But one of the things I've learned is, if you can come to accept your weakness, then you might have a chance of overcoming it. The problem we have is, we don't think we've got any weakness. We cover it all up by excuses. So the mind on its own is very powerful, even without his army. Even if we defeat the whole army, defeat the commander-in-chief, we still got to get to the mind, the rebel king. Now, the next 3 paragraphs, 10 pade, are the ones where Bhagat Kabir Ji now says how he defeated it. How he conquered the Kasur. Prem Palita, Surt Hawai, Gola Gyan Chalaya, Brahm Agan Sehje Par Jali, Eke Chot Sajaya. Prem Palita. Now think of a cannon. You know the old cannons, you watch these films on television. Battles going on with cannons firing away. Well, if you ever watch them, you'll see somebody with a fire stick and he lights this fuse. And Bhagat Kabir says, my cannon fuse was my undying love for God. I was totally engrossed in his God, love. Prem, Palita. Palita is that fuse. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji puts it beautifully. Sach kahu, sun liyo sabe, jin prem kiyo, tin hi prabh payo. You need this cannon to blow this castle. If you haven't got love, there's no fuse. You can't fire the cannonball. Prem palita surt hawai. Then concentration, ekchet hoke, सावधान. प्रभु की उस्तर करो संत मीत, सावधान एकाग्र चीत. Surt hawai. I made the cannon. My concentration was my cannon. Prem palita. My undying, unquestionable love for God. I was totally died in that love. My concentration on the Naam was my cannon. And my divine knowledge, my Guru's knowledge, was my cannonball. Prem Palita Surt Hawai Gola Gyan Chalaya. Brahm Agan Sehje Par Jali Eke Chot Sajaya. And when my spiritual stage reached the equipoise, the 4th stage of Saj, that's when Brahm Agni lights up. Remember, the fuse has to be lit. If there's no fire, it will not light. When the fourth stage, the dust was opened, that's when the fuse was lit. That's when the divine knowledge cannonball was fired, and it put holes in the castle. But I didn't win the mind yet. Sat santok le larne laga, tore doe darwaja. With truth and contentment, two of the most powerful virtues, I started fighting, and I defeated Pap and Pun. I broke down the gates. Sat santok le larne laga, tore doe darwaja. I brought down both the gates. Saas sangat और गुर की कृपा ते पकड़ियो गढ़ को राजा. And fighting like this, with the kirpa of the holy saints, with their association, with their help, and the true blessing and kirpa of Guruji, saas sangat और गुर की कृपा ते, I captured the rebel king. Pakriyo gad ko raja. I captured the king of the inner fort. And in the last paragraph, Bhakt Kabir says, Bhagavat Peer, Sakt Simran ki, Katti Kal Pay Fasi. Bhagavat Peer, translated say, is the Sangat of the truly enlightened devotees of God. Bhagavat Peer, Sakt Simran ki, with the power of Simran, meditation of God's name, Katti Kal Pay Fasi. I removed all fear of the noose of death. I removed all fear of all kinds. Das Kamir Chadiyo Gar Upar Raj Liyo Abnasi. Now here you might note when you read this Shabad, for Kabir the word uses Kamir, and it happens a couple of times in Guru Granth Sahib. But all translators say it is Kabir. Maybe Kamir was another word used to mean Kabir. But no translators actually put a note on this, why it was Kamir. Maybe it's a writer's mistake, or maybe it was just another word that was used for Kabir. But it only happens about a couple of times in Guru Granth Sahib, in Kabir Sahib Shabds. But they are Shabd of Kabirji because his Bani has been, it follows on that page. So, Das Kamir Chadiyo Gar Upar. But Kabir is saying is now, I have conquered the fort. Raj Liyo Banasi. I am now enjoying a undying kingdom. I am a king. I am an everlasting king. My kingdom will never perish. Why? Because he's become one with the unperishable. That battle, sorry to say, each one of us will have to fight either in this life, or we have to come back and fight it.
Vaheguru, Vaheguru.